Hello everyone, I'm Sidhant. Today we are going to understand the topic trial balance and the rectification of error, which is nothing but a chapter 10. So before starting, I would like to tell something that practicing of the question is very important. After understanding of the concept, from anywhere you want the knowledge or the concept, but the practicing question is more important, because if you practice, the concepts will be more cleared as we go on. So let's start. The topic is, as I said, the trial balance and the rectification of error. So this topic is confined with the topic trial balance and the rectification of the errors. So even in the last chapter we have understood what is trial balance is, but we will revise so that it could be, you can easily link it out. So as we already have seen in chapter 6, yes, we will revise that. First of all, for any company, the first thing of any transaction is journal entry. After journal entry, what is done, and this journal entry is nothing, the process is called journalizing. After journal entry, what we did the ledger making. This process is nothing but a posting. This is entry. Okay, with this ledger, what we do, we make the trial balance. This is something we are going to study. What is the difference? It's just an entry. According to the date wise, the entries are made. In the ledger, we do the segregation. According to the type of account, we put the entries into particular account. And the trial balance, we do nothing. We just see that the credit is equal to the debit. We just balance. It's just show the it will not show the names, the statement of the transaction, but it will show the debit and credit of all the things. Like for example, let's say it's a trial balance. After the trial balance is only made after the ledger is made. So in the trial balance, what we do, see, this cash is cash. There is some cash, capital, some personal account, let's say ABC, one of the personal account, or you can say purchase account, goods account, and many more. So, and here the credit debit, it's only shows the credit debit, what all credit we have did, what all debit we have did. So what is the purpose? Before discussing the purpose, I would like to say the trial balance is nothing but a summarizing of all the ledgers account we have in the book. So let's say the ABC credit balance is 5,000 and the debit balance is 10,000. So here what we can analyze, that there is a debit balance of 5,000. So we have to give this 5,000 rupees to the ABC Limited, which is nothing but a personal account. It means that either we have taken credit or some amount, the purchase on the credit basis. So that's the meaning of this. So this is just a concept. The trial balance is nothing but a short summary of all the ledgers. These are nothing but a ledgers, and only the credit and the debit it will show. That's it. So this is trial balance. As I said, the trial balance is the balance of the debit and credit. So when the person, let's say some person is there trying to make a trial balance with the help of all the ledgers he had. After making of the trial balance, he found that some the debit and the credit doesn't match. Then what he should do? At the time when it doesn't match, So he will again go to the ledger and see all the values and the transaction. If it's not found in the ledger, then it will go to the journal entry and it will check throughout through thick and thin of everything. But it will take a very long, very too much of time. So at the time of trial balance, what they did, they just whatever the shortage, wherever there's shortage, they do it with the credit or debit respectively to make a balance through the suspense account. And in the bank we also use the suspense account. So this suspense account concept comes from this only. So whatever the credit debit imbalance we had in the trial balance, so we can do it, we can balance it through the suspense account. At the time of making trial balance, we do it with the suspense account, and the person are told to check the ledger and journal entry, and when the main things or the main mistakes or the errors found in the ledger or journal entry, we can easily reverse the entry. Let's say we did, let's say some debit account, there is a credit balance. So in the debit side, we do a debit to the suspense account. So when we found the main errors, then we have to again credit that suspense account and move that particular entry to the particular ledger or general entry after the rectification. Then our trial balance will be balanced at that time. So this is the concept of the trial balance. Now we will see what kind of errors could happen, so that we can easily trace it, or we can easily trace it and rectify it. Now we will try to see what all errors could be possible. Errors in the trial balance or ledger or journal entry. So error are of two types: error of principal and clerical error. This error associated with the non-following of the accounting standards or breach of the rules and the regulation of the accounting standards, this error occurs. And this clerical errors has three things in its under its belt, like the error of omission, the error of commission, and the compensation error. In the error of omission, there is a partial omission, there is a complete omission. As the name suggests, omission means omitting of the values. Any particular values are either partially written or totally removed from the entries. So this errors of omission happens. In the error of commission, we have error of recording, posting, casting, and carrying forward. This recording, as I told you before also, that recording entry or recording error happens in journal. In posting, this error is in ledger. Casting means totaling. This is in the trial balance, you can say. In the totaling of the things, if it doesn't match, then this error is happened. Carrying forward is nothing but if in one accounting period we are moving to the another account period, we need to carry forward some of the things like assets, liabilities. We need to carry forward from one year to another year. So in this error, this is carrying forwarding error. Next, the compensation error. These are the toughest one to find, because in the compensation error, what we did, if we debit something with some extra amount, at some other place we are crediting something with that same extra amount. So in the trial balance, you will get the balance as desired, but there is a hidden error, because at some point of time we have debited some extra and some of the point we have credited some extra. So that's why this happens. And this is also loopholes enjoyed by the companies which wants to show that their balance sheet is very strong. They can debit from somewhere, they can credit from somewhere, and they can fraud to the to any persons with the data they are showing. So as far as rectification of error is concerned, we will confine us with the syllabus, or we are covering the syllabus. Everything is mentioned in the syllabus, so we are covering all the three aspects. So rectification is done, or we can say are types like undercosting, overcosting, second, before preparing trial balance, and the third one is after preparation of the trial balance. There are mainly these three types of the mistakes or the errors the person did in the accounting process. So we will see one by one. So before starting, we will revise something which were used in the last chapter. Now we will revise that thing so that you can easily catch the things. So as we read, just as we did the general entry, so let's say one statement that purchased goods on credit from RAM rupees 5,000. What does it mean? It means that we are taking goods and we have not paid at that time. We will pay afterwards at any point of time. So we are taking the goods on credit. We are putting liability. We are this RAM. We owe money to RAM in future. So here the two accounts, what all two accounts involved, if we have to make the general entry, what all two accounts are involved. First, since यहाँ पे लेना देना है, means future में पैसा देना है, because we have taken the goods on credit, so this is personal account. So one account which is involved is RAM, and another one, since we are purchasing goods, so purchasing account, purchase account or purchasing account, you can name anything. So these two accounts are involved. Now our target is to find which one is debit, which one is credit. Since it's a personal account, so since RAM is a personal account, so RAM is giving. So we will see the rules of the what all rules we have seen, that for the personal, for the real, and for the nominal we have seen rules in the last chapter, that is debit the receiver and credit the giver. We have learned that, so we will apply this rule. So RAM is what? RAM is giving his goods, so it's a giver, so we will so it's a credit according to the rule. So RAM account credited to, and since one is credit, so other one is debit, so purchase account debited 5,000. So this is a general entry. Similarly, let's say sales, we sold some goods on credit to RAM. So this entry, by applying the same rule, we will get RAM account debited to sales account credited with, let's say, 5,000 rupees. So we have seen the two things. The conclusion I revised because one thing that revision is required for all the throughout the chapters, and the second purpose is that we will in the future we will have a work of purchase and sales account. So just remember, this purchase account always have a debit balance, and the sales account always have a credit balance. So these things you should keep in mind. So this one is the basic principles and rectification of any account. You can remember it very easy. In any general case, if something has a more debit, what we simply do that we deduct that for, let's say we have debited some account non-intentionally. So what we do the credit. So let's say other way around. Let's try it other. Okay, let's say you want to charge someone for the duplication of the ATM charges. So you need to charge rupees 100, but you charge rupees 120. So what will you do? You will credit this 20 rupees again to his account, because you have charged 120. The actual charge is 100, but you charge 120. So again 20 rupees you will credit. So that's the rule. Again, let's say the charge is 100 rupees, but you charged 80. What will you do? You will deduct another 20 rupees in debit. So that's the rule. Let's say if you have access debited in one account, let's say you have access deduct the amount from another account. Let's say you have access deducted someone's account. What will you do? You will credit that amount. So for access debit you are doing the credit. Similarly, if for some account you have the charge is 100 and you deducted only 80, so you will deduct another 20 rupees. So this is further debit in case of short debit. Similarly, in case of access credit, if you do some access credit, let's say the check come for clearing for 1000 and you credited to his account for 2000, what will you do? You will debit. So debit. And a short credit, you have to credit some more amount, so further credit. So this is the rule you need to keep in mind. For the rules, as I told you before this rule, I told you one rule for the general entry. Just after entering the exam, you have some time. When they give you the page, just write these rules in sideways, or you can also write even just after the starting of the exam, because there's plenty of time. So you can utilize the time and you should write these rules so that it can easily be seen and solved. So let's solve one questions. So we will see how the rectification does, what are the formats we need to follow, and how the rectification is done. We are studying the first one, that undercosting and overcosting. So let's say the purchase book overcost by 3,000 rupees. So what does it mean? As we have learned that purchase book is nothing but having a debit balance. So whenever some debit balance and there is an excess debit, what we do according to the rules. So we will refer the rules, or you can easily also apply the mind and do it here, but for easy I am telling you to refer the rules. See excess debit, what we need to do? We need to credit the excess amount. So excess amount is 3,000. We need to credit this 3,000, and we have to write like this below here. That is serial number 1, over costing of purchase book. This is the nature of the mistake and effect of the mistake. Excess debit in purchase account. And what is the rectification? Credit 3,000 rupees to the purchase account. So this is how the rectification done. So the next example, sales book under cost by rupees 2,000. In the sales books, what we have learned, that it's in the credit balance. So the credit balance, and when there is a shortage, under cost means shortage, over cost means excess. So under cost shortage of the credit balance, we will see the rules. That shortage credit balance, what we need to do, we need to credit further. So the second problem is to shortage in sales book. I already have told you why this purchase book is debit and why this sales book is credit. It's universal, and I already explained it in the latter part of the previous part of the lecture. So shortage in the sales book means effect of the less credited in the sales account. What you need to do according to the rules, that when there is a shortage in the credit balance, we need to credit further. So further credit of rupees 2000 required. So this is how the undercosting and the overcosting example we have discussed. Now we will move to the before preparation of the trial balance, the second part. So we are moving on to the second part, that is before preparation of the trial balance, the error that occurred before the preparation of the trial balance. So before the preparation of the trial balance, what we had nothing but a ledger and the generals. So this error is in the generals of the ledger. So we will take one example and we will see how this happens. So we are taking this example. What we are doing here, we are taking a statement, we will prepare general entry, then we will make a ledger, and we will see that how the entries are wrongly entered and how to correct that entry. That our purpose to discuss. That is the second part, before preparation of the trial balance, that is the error in general entry. We need how we can rectify and how the debit and credit plays. So the salary of the 20,000 to the John. What does it mean? I told you to write the general entry of this statement. So what all accounts are involved? First, see that one is salary account and another one is cash account. How this salary and cash account involved? Why not John account involved? Because I told you that John is a personal account. Personal account used only when जब भी किसी से लेना देना होगा तभी personal account use होगा. Or whenever there is a relationship between the persons, either to get money or to give money in future, then only the personal account used. But here, since the salary is given, there is no the case of lena dena, or there is no relationship, so the salary account and the cash account involved. So salary account is a nominal account, and whenever in the nominal account salary is acts an expense, so salary account, it's a debit one, and if it's a debit one, this one is a credit one. So salary account debited to cash account. So it's a 20,000. Okay, let's say Ram. It's easy for that. Okay, the salary account debited to and to the cash account. So this is the entry, but in the general you mistakenly wrote the entry as John account debited to cash. Okay, we did this mistake, so we need to correct it. In the general entry, this is the entry, but actual the entry is this. So in the rectification of error, what process you will follow? That in the page you will write, or in the entry, in the side of the entry you can write this. Correct entry. You have to write the correct, what is the correct entry? The correct entry, this one, you will place this one here, that is salary account debited to cash account. Okay, and what is the wrong entry? Wrong entry is John account debit to cash account. This is the wrong entry we mentioned in the book. Now the rectification entry, since in the book we had this entry and what we need this entry. So here we will see that since John account debited and there is in the correct entry John account, there is no relationship in the there is no mentioning of the John account at all in the correct entry. So since we have debited it, first we have to credit this John account credited so that it can come to the neutral position, because by mistake we did the debit of the John account. If we credit, it will come to the neutral position and we can follow up further. Now since John account credited, now the cash account involved in the correct account as well, there is no need to mention it. And since sales account debited, so we have to write this sales account debited to John account credited. So why we are doing all this? As in the banking you had seen that if some mistake we did, let's say someone came for the withdrawal, and if we have deposited that amount because of the wrong opening of the by using the wrong financial formula, we did the deposit instead of withdrawal. What we do, first we what process involved, first what the person has deposited, first we have to neutralize it, we have to withdraw that much of amount, and again that we have to withdraw that amount. So we have to do this process only. So here also what we did, we give the wrong entry is this, so we debited this John account. So in order to nullify, we credited John account first, and since cash account is same both the entries, so what we need to do in the correct entry, sales account debited, so we need to debit the sales account. So that's the things you need to do. I will make a separate lecture for understanding by giving 5 to 6 example of the questions, of the sample questions, so that you can easily understand. Today just take the concept, and we will build the next day. I will upload with 4 to 5 questions with each of the methods, so that you can easily understand. Method that is after preparation of the trial balance. I think I have to explain it more. Let's say someone came to withdraw money 5,000 rupees, but what we did some mistake. Instead of using the financial formula of withdrawal, we used the financial formula of deposit, and we posted 5,000 rupees in his account. Instead of withdrawal, we posted 5,000 rupees in his account. So what we need to do when we find in the at last when we try to balance the cash, their cash doesn't match. So what we need to do, first for this 5,000 what we have deposited, we need to nullify it by withdraw 5,000 of rupees. Okay, now again this 5,000 of rupees is withdrawal, so again this 5,000 of rupees so I think you have understood. So we have to nullify the transaction, that is we have to withdraw this 5,000. Again we have to withdraw this 5,000 because this is the actual withdrawal that is happened. So this is how what we are doing here by writing those things. We will take some questions the next day, so that there would be enough practice so that you can understand easily. Now moving on to the third, after preparation of the trial balance. So this is the easiest of all. What we have to do as preparation of the trial balance, we find that some amount is missing either in the debit or credit, they are not balanced to each other. So we introduce the suspense account. When the debit is more, then in order to nullify, we create credit suspense account, and when the credit is more, we have to make the debit suspense account. So we are using suspense account just to make a balance between the credit and the debit. So let's say we made the trial balance by putting suspense account in order to have the balance the balanced trial balance. So in future when we find the entries when we check the generals or the ledger, we find where the error had happened. So now we have to reverse this suspense account entry to the main entries or the main accounts which has that missing, or the over or the under, anything which to the desired account to which we have checked and find out that this account has that error. So in order to suspense account, let's say the suspense account has a debit balance. So the suspense account, it means that when the suspense account has debit balance, it means that the credit was more. So we are discussing the third part. Let's say the difference is 10,000 rupees and it's in the credit suspense account. Okay, 10,000 difference is there between the trial debit and credit, and it's in the credit side 10,000 credit. So how we can nullify the entries, the extra 10,000, how to find? We will check the generals of the ledger and find that some of the things, some of the account haven't, or some accounts some accounts in the credit side have the errors. So what we need to do in order to rectification, what we need to do, we need to debit the suspense account because it's in the credit balance. So we need to debit the suspense account and credit it to the particular accounts to which we have followed, or which we have found that some error has found in the credit, in the general or the ledger, whatever the errors we found, we need to credit. We need to debit the suspense account and need to credit to the particular account, this particular respective account, so that the things will correct itself. I will take the example in the next class because it's just a basic class. In the next class I will take in all the three category, I will take the examples and made you feel comfortable with the things. Okay, thank you.